Today I'm going to be showing you just basic variable kind of work. A little bit, I'm going to show you global variables and making public variables. So let's get started. Alright, now there are three types of basic variables. One is a string, one is an integer, and one is a double. Strings hold text. Integers hold whole real numbers. And doubles hold like pretty much any number, decimals and whatever. Um, Integers are pretty much just used for, I mean, they're most handy. Like if you want to count something, you're gonna want to use like an integer. Just keep it. It keeps it a lot easier. Let's see. All right. So when form1 loads, we're gonna have. Let's see. We're gonna dimension. We're gonna type dim for dimension, and we're gonna have test string as string. Alright, so you can name it whatever, I don't care. It does not matter. Now here's the only difference is that when you're dimensioning something, if you do this, you now have an array. We will talk about arrays later. For now, let's just get the basic. Let's get something on here. Alright. Now, it's only underlined because it's not used yet. So, right on the same line that you dimension it, you can set it to something equals. Shit. My cat is awesome. Yeah. So now you now have a string called test string, and that's what it holds. Integer equals 1, 2, doesn't matter, equals. Now if I put that, it's gonna freak out, cause oh, never mind. I guess not. That's weird. Probably because we're not calling it yet. Alright, so now these are all variables that you have when the form loads. Anywhere else, if you had a private sub here, it's not going to have access to these. What you want to do for the whole program, for your whole form to have access to a variable, is you put it under the class. So we would say dim global var as string. Now you can name it whatever you want, same rules apply. Now if you're setting it to an instance of an object, like say textbox1.text, you're going to have a stack overload because you're creating, it just freaks out because it hasn't really loaded the things on the page yet, and you're trying to set a variable to something that hasn't loaded yet. So if you wanted to set it to that, then you would say global var equals textbox1.text. Now we don't have that, but you see what I mean. So now the whole form has access to that. Alright, now here's how to make a public variable. Say you have multiple forms. You want, let's go ahead and just add a form. Now this is handy for like if you have a login, you want that login, that password, and that username to go to your main form. So on your other form here, we're going to say right above under class form, instead of saying dimension, instead of saying dim, we're going to say public blah as string. Now the whole program has access to this string, but see, we can't refer to it yet because we haven't called it. So if we tried to go back to form 1 and say blah equals something, it's not going to know what the hell we're talking about. here's what you gotta do, is you have to call it from form2. So we're gonna say dim call as string equals form2 dot blah. Oh, it doesn't like that. There. So now we have the dimension. We now have a variable call that is equal to the variable blah on form2. Simple. Very easy, and that's very handy when you're working with multiple forms. You're gonna need to know that. That's about all I can think of right now. Stay tuned for arrays, and we'll get on to some more advanced stuff. But I want to make sure that everybody has the basics, and that I'm not leaving anybody behind just in case they wanted the information. So